This is Bangarang Radio, a podcast network. For more shows, visit bangarangradio.com.
I'm going out, I gotta go. I'll bangarang on the radio. So turn it up, I'm telling you. I think I'm ready for something new. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. You're listening to Pop Punk and Pizza on Bangarang Radio.
All right, we're on. Welcome to Pop Punk and Pizza Podcast here on Bangarang Radio. I am Jacques Lamour, your host. Before I bring on our special guest today, I want to note that the tribute band I play in called St. Jimmy finally has a show coming up. Been waiting forever to be able to play some more shows with those guys, so I'm super stoked about this. If you're in the Chicagoland area, we're playing Sunday, August 20th at a place called Base Camp Pub and Eatery in Lisle, Illinois. It's their first annual 90s Palooza, so in addition to St. Jimmy playing, there's going to be a ton of other 90s tribute bands, and there's some really good ones too. There's Two Fighters, which we've played with before. There's a Alice in Chains tribute. There's a Blink-182 tribute band called Blank 281. Don't Speak, which is a No Doubt tribute band. There's Smells Like Nirvana. They're very good, and there's a couple more too. Now, this is going to be an all-ages show on August 20th. The doors open up at 11 a.m., and St. Jimmy is going to hit the stage at 4:30 on the indoor stage. There's an outdoor stage and an indoor stage. We'll be on the indoor stage. Tickets are now on sale. If you go to ticketweb.com, you can just search for the venue, which is Base Camp, or you can just visit bangarangradio.com, and I'll have the link up there for you to buy tickets for this particular episode. So check that out Sunday, August 20th at Base Camp Pub and Eatery. I play the role of Jason White in St. Jimmy. So looking forward to that because we haven't played a show since December, and I've been dying to play a show for sure. So today's episode is brought to you by Gamefly. Go to gameflyoffer.com/Bangarang Radio to get that premium free 30-day trial. That is one game out. So again, gameflyoffer.com/Bangarang Radio to get the premium free 30-day trial. And thank you for Gamefly for being a sponsor there. All right. I had a really great time with Alex and Zach of the Linden Method from Chicago. We had a great conversation on the air and off the air, or I should say recorded and not recorded. So I'm really pleased to get into this episode with you guys.
Oh, I just thought of it. I forget.
Oh, well, it's another super group. Kind of. It's a great album.
Okay. No, I haven't heard that one
just came out
yet.
last year, right?
No, they've been around for a few years. I think they...
No, the new album.
Oh, the new album. Yeah,
I think it's just last year it came out.
Okay.
It's good.
So, yeah, maybe it won't happen then.
I don't have very high hopes. Not while they're all doing these things.
No.
And their drummer's just back to bartending at the Gingerman in Wrigleyville.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you see him?
Once in a while he would do it. Brendan Kelly would bartend there once in a while.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, the G-Man's been kind of cool with that for a while.
That's cool.
He'll run into random guys like guest bartending. They're just shit-faced. Behind the bar, just shit-faced. Brendan Kelly was there bartending when I went and saw Dave House and singer from Lagwagon.
I'm so bad with names.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
I don't know all the Lagwagon guys.
Minus 10 punk cred.
That's
Man,
okay.
I cannot think of it, but
you'll get the cred back.
I went and found him.
It'll come to me after we stop recording, I'm sure.
That's how it always works.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
But that show was awesome, and we were there and went to order a drink, and there's just some idiot behind the bar, hammered, falling around, and all of a sudden we realized it was him. It was Brendan Kelly just tanked. That's pretty awesome.
That's kind of embarrassing for him.
No, he's always tanked like
Is
that.
he always,
from what I've heard, he just parties.
Well, I mean, I suppose if I was in his shoes, I would probably be doing that too.
Listen to his songs. He doesn't hide it.
That's true. Yeah, good point. Good point, man. All right. Well, with that being said, I was talking about Lawrence Arms. We're going to play them, and here in just a minute, we're going to get to our pop punk picks of the week. So here we go.
Pop punk picks of the week.
3, 2, 1.
All right. So my pick of the week is a song called Coffee at Midnight, and it's by a band called Stand Atlantic. I happened to just be scrolling through my Facebook feed, and they had an ad for this song. Never heard of the band before, but this song called Coffee at Midnight is from an EP called Sidewinder, which comes out September 15th through via Rude Records. And there's just something sexy about a punk alternative rock band with a female fronted vocalist, and she's playing a Telecaster.
Right on. I see no problems.
No problems at all. That's what kind of gravitated me towards it. I'm like, whoa, I got to check this out. And I listen. I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. Like, I love this. So that's my pick. So I'll jam it out right now.
I don't want to say goodbye. Can we just say goodnight? Tell me how to change your mind over coffee at midnight.
That's Coffee at Midnight by Stand Atlantic. That's from their upcoming EP called Sidewinder. It's coming out via Rude Records on September 15th. So that is my pop punk pick of the week. And what's your guys' pick?
Lawrence Arms. That's a song that
a specific song?
Well,
which one did I send you? I don't.
You sent me the YMCA down the street from the clinic.
The clinic, yeah.
Yes,
that's a killer tune.
My anthem of the year has been the song "Can't Win" by the band Pup. It's phenomenal. It's my life. I love it.
Pup is dope.
Tell me about Pup, because I don't know who.
Neither one's pop punk. I guess maybe Lawrence Arms.
Well, they're I guess they would be closer,
enough.
But it depends. It depends on your definition of pop punk, because
Lord knows
everyone.
That's a conversation.
Yeah, it certainly is, man.
Don't come at me with that.
What'd you say?
Don't come at me with that, man. Like,
that
if you wanna
pop
argue
punk
about
definition
what is defined as pop punk, you're gonna win, because I just don't care enough.
Yeah,
it's all just punk music to me.
I used to be kind of hell-bent on this is what it is, and now I'm just like,
I really don't give a shit. Does it jam?
Right.
How's it sound when it's
just because I've learned that by getting older that nothing stays the same. So.
Yeah, and things get relabeled as time goes on.
Yep.
And nothing gold can stay.
Even punk rock is different. You know.
Well,
new.
True.
You gotta find the good new punk rock bands. Right. We just played with a few.
All I'm saying
is
people aren't coming out like the Clash still, though.
Oh no.
That was
That's
punk
what I'm
at the
saying.
time.
Yeah.
No, but you're still finding street punk bands. And,
oh yeah.
Oh sure.
Yeah, you could definitely still find some great bands like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, Pup. Where are they from?
Pup, I believe, is
Canada,
from Toronto.
Right?
Yeah.
Nice, dude. I love a good Canadian band.
Yeah.
Used to be into Mariana's Trench for a while there. I know they're still around, but I think they're kind of more on the poppy side. I think.
Weren't they like a metalcore band?
Were they a metalcore band? I don't know.
I don't know. I thought
the
they
stuff
were a
I
metalcore
listened.
band.
I didn't.
I'm thinking of the song "Mariana's Trench" by August Burns Red.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Never mind.
That is definitely that is definitely metalcore.
It's a good song.
Cool. Well, let's play. Why'd you pick the Lawrence and Arms song?
Why'd I pick it?
Mm-hmm. Or Lawrence Arms. I'm sorry.
I've always liked Lawrence Arms. Just from years of listening to them randomly, when people played them, I was like, that's a good song. You know, when you get that band that you're like, oh, do you know that band? You're like, yeah, I've heard their songs and I like it, but I don't know why I've never listened to it. I've never like really gotten into it. And I kind of was thinking about them one day when I was driving around for work, and I was like, I'm just going to put on all their albums and just listen through. And I did it, and I was like, man, this shit jams. So then I did it the next day, and I did it the next day, and I'm like, this shit's great. Like, this band's extremely solid. They're versatile. Love them. And so for the past 2 weeks, I've kind of been on a Lawrence Arms kick.
Lick on the lane for the world's biggest dick. You can smell the rats dying as the ship starts to sink. Down beneath the pour are embraces and tears. Up against the bars, staring down their years. You told me to kiss you, 'cause we were at the end. And I said I wouldn't miss you, 'cause baby, I'd be dead. And that's the only way it seemed that I could get away. Otherwise, I'm nothing without you, babe. Oh. I got married at 16, and I'm bathing in the sink at the YMCA down the street from the clinic. And there's a sad old man, a sad saggy ass, just crying under the electric dryer. Pour your hands, and he's wet and he's dying, and the spiders on his nose seem to indicate that he's been keeping warm out in the cold. And he's a lot like me, I guess. We're somehow not the same. They say you really died the last time anybody says your name. Nope.
bars. So I text and tweet and look at news and beat off in the dark. Back when I was just a boy, we were okay ways to go. But maybe I got old, somewhere I ditched my soul. Oh.
That's the YMCA down the street from the clinic from Lawrence Arms. That is, well, Alex's pick of the week,
my
at least.
pick.
Yeah. And of course, we were talking about Pup with Zach over there. So awesome, man. I love it. I have to get into more Lawrence Arms. I mean, I've heard of Lawrence Arms for years,
Of course.
now, but I never really took the time to
Same thing with me.
dive in. And you were saying you were just doing that the last couple of weeks, so
Yep.
that's cool. Now, while this song was playing, we were having an awesome conversation about gear.
Oh, God.
And how you have two different. I was just loving that because you were talking about how you use two different amps, and I had to do that on tour one time when I was with the Projection, only because the clean channel on my amp went out for some reason.
Oh, bummer.
I don't know if the channel went out or something was wrong with it, and I couldn't switch back and forth. So I was like, well, I need clean.
Yeah,
so
right.
I ended up bringing just a little tube PV combo amp. I forget
Classic 30 or something?
it was a Classic 20,
Okay.
Oh, nice.
and which I think they started making those again recently.
Actually, a great amp.
Yeah, it is
Super versatile, clean amp.
It is, and it was small and portable, so I had to get one of those AB switches, and
Well,
it was a pain, but
I had the 30 before.
okay,
That ran for a while.
nice.
It's a cool amp.
But yeah, it was just, and the fact that you have a JCM 800 original from the 80s,
85.
those are amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
brag about
Recorded
your stuff
with
now that you're on mic, man.
The vertical. I have the vertical input. 85. It's a cool amp, and what I was saying is, it's my favorite amp tone of all time. Period. That's my favorite sound. So I have what I like, except there's zero versatility in that amp. It sounds one way, and you can turn
Right.
every knob on the amp, and it really doesn't change.
No.
It does not change much. It sounds like a JCM, and that's all it's going to ever sound like. But there's no clean. So when we wanted to start doing more clean stuff with our just straight punk rock stuff, I was like, well, what do I do?
how do I even?
Yeah, do I fumble with knobs? And we tried for a bit for me to fumble with knobs and turn on and off my tube screamer if I have it on or not. And it just led to me screwing up a lot and things just sounding bad. So I finally just went and bought my second amp, which is a 73 twin reverb Silverface. And so now I just kind of have best of both worlds. But we always laugh because as soon as we get there with the amps, I go up to the sound guy and I apologize. And I'm like, hey, I don't think I'm like some big shot or anything. It's just I don't have any other option, so I have to have two amps up here. I'm sorry. And,
Dudes
they're
are
always
always like, oh, this motherfucker. I can't believe
Yeah, I
you
was
right
they're
now."
always cool with it. No one ever cares. But sometimes in smaller venues, they don't have mics for it. And I'm just like, don't even mic it. It's loud. Don't worry about
Right.
it.
Oh yeah. At that point, there's no need to. It's loud enough. But I mean, a good sound guy will appreciate your passion for your tone and being so picky about it, because you could easily just be like, you know what, I'm gonna buy a head that has two channels that I agree with, or whatever. But you don't do that. Obviously.
The John from Evolution Music.
Yeah.
He came up to us after we did the Pop Punk Wayo Fest, and he's like, man, you guys have some great sounding gear. He's like, because he's obviously sells gear, and he's super appreciative of the old vintage stuff. And
Yep.
I always love talking to people about that, because all my guitars are pretty much vintage voice too. And
Hey, I love vintage stuff, man.
yeah, man,
Recorded a lot with a JCM 800. Perfect.
a lot of bands go for it. It's just
Yeah.
it's that sound that we know. 'Cause
Yep.
It was used on so many albums, and same thing with the AC30 or the twin reverb. It's just we know that sound, and
I've
it's
used
a tried
the
and
twin
true.
reverb too. Yeah,
It's tried and true sound.
yeah, you can't go wrong.
No.
You really can't go wrong. All right, well, let's see. Look at my show notes here. I wanted to kind of talk about, since it's not the whole group here and it's you two. Talk about some of the other things that you guys do besides the Linden method. So, Alex, you just started a solo project not too long ago, and I listened to the single, and I really dig it.
Thank you.
So, where did Waxed Wings come from? What gave you the idea? What inspired you to do this little solo side project?
So with our band, we try to not branch out too far. We want to have a unified sound, and we discuss that when we're writing stuff. We don't say, "Hey, what band do you want to sound like?" We say, "Okay, what do we want to sound like? What is our idea of what we want to sound like?" And we really don't go after other bands or other sounds. We're just kind of like...
It's more that we're chasing like an idea. Like we have an
idea or a
concept
feel
of what we want this to be like. We want it to be like aggressive and loud and in your face, and I'll be very like straightforward like that. But at the same time, all of us have different writing styles. There's other things you come up with.
And we like different music. A lot of us, I mean, I listen to a ton of ska and...
Toting my Less Than Jake shirt today.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
And I listen to a ton of ska and 90s punk and pop punk and all sorts of stuff. And our drummer's favorite band is Kiss, which thank God he's not here because he would have talked about it for 45 minutes.
Oh, man.
Loves 80s hair metal. Cody's real big on the newer pop punk sound.
Is he going to see him at open air?
Yes. He already has tickets. I've seen him with him. We've all gone with him to see that band.
To see Kiss?
And Cody likes
awesome.
a lot of the
those tickets must be expensive.
I think they were 60 or 80.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Modest, I feel like.
And then Zach's music.
I listen to all kinds of crazy shit. For the most part, I listen to a lot of hip hop in my spare time.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm super about a lot of like the new emo thing that's happening, as well as like a lot of like noise and like math rocky kind of stuff. Lots of stuff like Every Time I Die and The Fall of Troy, things like that. Also a lot of like weird instrumental post rock stuff like Chan and like Terra Mellows and things like that.
All right, so you kind of get into it all.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we're all over the place.
Yeah,
basically.
definitely.
So we have to come together and really have a discussion and be like,
what are we doing?
We need to do so we don't get too all over the place because we used to. We had trouble focusing on that. So as a means of expressing myself outside of what we do, I wanted to do something that was more folk-based, just singer-songwriter style. And I just decided, well, instead of having to get a bunch of other people together and do it, I'm just going to do something on my own and write and play everything myself and go into the studio with Joe Scaletta, Word of Mouth. He's one of my good friends, and he recorded our albums. And
yeah, he's the man. Shout out to Word of Mouth.
Yeah, he's amazing. And he gets me, and he knows how to like kind of pull things out of me, and he's just a great producer in that sense that, he puts in his ideas, but he really knows how to pull things out of me and get things that I want, and I don't even know I want. So that's where I went with that. I mean, I went in, and the thing about that song was I went in there with into the studio, and we specifically did it like this on purpose, with just the acoustic part written and an idea of some cleans in the lyrics. The melodies weren't even finished or anything. So we actually sat down for 3 days in the studio and wrote and recorded everything to be natural and to be this like very organic thing.
So you just you took your time with it. And
and
made
just
sure it was
wrote
right.
and recorded in the studio, which we've never done. We have everything done. We go in the studio, we record it, we come out. So I wanted to try a different process of kind of making stuff up on the fly, like the guitar solo and stuff that's in it. I wrote right there. Was just like, okay, doodle, doodle, doodle. Ooh, I like this, and then just put it all together and recorded it like that. And within like an hour, just kind of did the whole thing. So it was really fun and just different.
All right. Well, let's take a listen to it.
All right.
Hey man, I've been thinking a lot about you lately. Remember back in high school when we used to spend afternoons at the music store, jamming on those 6 strings that we knew we couldn't afford. I guess I never thought about it, but maybe all your depression came from that house that was stuck in anymore. I mean, I wasn't there for the past 8 years, so who am I to cry about it? That won't stop me, I'm still living with regret. Somehow I think I could have stopped you, and if there's peace, I hope you find it. Seeing you lay there was probably the first time I saw you not in need. There's so many times I talked you down with relative ease. So where the fuck was I when you needed me the most? You deserve so much better. You still deserve so much better. Was it 'cause you broke your heart? Was it 'cause you lost your job? Was it 'cause you couldn't take your family? Was there ever love from the start? And I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact that you're not around here anymore. I mean, I wasn't there for the past 8 years, so who am I to cry about it? But that won't stop me, I'm still living with regret. And somehow I think I could have stopped you, and if there's peace, I hope you find it. There's so many things I wanna say, so many questions I have today. And I'm sorry this time I wasn't there. Would you have listened anyway? And I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact that you're not around here anymore. I mean, I wasn't there for the past 8 years, so who am I to cry about it? That won't stop me, I'm still living with regret. And somehow I think I could have stopped you, and if there's peace, I hope you find it.
All right, that's Wax Wings to whom it may concern, which is Alex's his solo side project, and he was just telling me the meaning of the song and where it comes from, and I think it's really deep, and I want to hear the whole story. So he was in the middle of telling me, and then I was like, "Oh, the song's like almost over." And he's like, "Oh, well, fuck you then."
So the guitarist in my band, all through high school, had committed suicide, and the song's not about him. It's not about him. It was about me, and it's not supposed to be a mourning song about him. It was about the way I felt trying to cope with the loss of someone, and just being able to verbalize the way I felt, because whether it's a family member or a friend or something, you feel like a certain amount of anger, and you feel like sadness, and you feel confusion, and you feel all these things, and I kind of just wanted to put that into words and put that out there, and that's all the song is there wasn't a lot of editing behind the lyrics. It was very much just free form writing exactly how I feel and put it out.
I think you got your point across pretty well too. I would imagine, you kind of capture it all those emotions there. So I was saying it's like soft, upbeat music. I don't know how else to describe it, but
yeah, I like a lot of like Third Eye Blind and stuff.
Okay,
and like the '90s pop rock.
Yeah,
so it's kind of this like pop rock mixed with folk rock.
I was gonna say you got pop rock, folk rock kind of thing going on. Yeah.
It just kind of has everything, and then my vocals obviously sound the way they do. I don't know. Right. They don't really have a specific style.
No, it fits in nicely.
You can kind of compare it to like a Gaslight Anthem, like Lucero.
Yeah, then it's also something similar to that kind of. Yeah.
Yep.
I just wanted to, when I made it, and Joe and I said, like, let's not have any barriers with what we're doing. Let's just do what feels right, and let's put it out there. And we kept laughing because we're like, man, people are either going to hate this or love it. It's because it's not really, it's not like so specific of a genre.
Yeah.
So it's we were just kind of like worried putting it out. We're like, oh man, I don't know if people are going to hate this or think it's total shit.
Well, I like it. I think
it's
people
had a pretty positive reception.
Yeah,
I think so.
I've had a really positive reception. Good. I'm stoked. I'm excited to write more folk music.
Awesome. Well, if you like that, you can hit up waxedwings.bandcamp.com. So
It's free.
I gave you $1.
Oh, thank you.
So
I appreciate the $1.
Hey, no problem, man. I hope you can buy a Diet Coke with it or something.
No, it's like $1.79. I'm screwed.
Yeah, I know.
Bandcamp probably took like 70% of that. Anyways.
I was gonna say, what is their cut? Because
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's only 30%. Bandcamp's actually really cool about that.
They're better than iTunes, and
They're better
Okay.
than everything. Bandcamp is awesome.
Yeah.
I sing its praises constantly.
I've never actually used a Bandcamp for anything that I put out, but I've been told I should. So
We haven't updated our Bandcamp since maybe 2015, but we've been meaning to for a long time. I actually buy a lot of records off Bandcamp for the podcast that I make.
and which is what I was wanting to
So,
talk about next.
segue!
actually. Good segue there.
Um,
All right. So Zach is the host, or one of the hosts.
One of the hosts.
of a Horrified podcast. The other dudes are named Ian and Justin. And I was actually listening to, I'm thinking it was the latest episode, but I'm not sure.
About The Fly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I found it very entertaining. I'm sitting there listening, and I'm not sure which one you were. If you were the one like telling.
I was the one going through the main of the plot in that one, and then Justin did all the character work.
Okay, that was funny. I thought it was funny anyway, because usually I've done podcasts like that where I'm talking about a movie and then I'll use like sound bites from the movie in there, but Justin went ahead and he acts them out.
We do that all the time because we're all like deathly afraid of being sued. So like
Which makes
when we
sense.
first started the show, we used to use like all this like big name music and all that, but over time we just started actually acting out the parts because it's way funnier if we do that. And like what I always tell people is that as much as we're about horror and stuff, we're a comedy podcast about horror. So it's mostly us just like making jokes and doing sketches within that. So it's like to do the scenes ourselves is just way better. And like every time we
It's
try
more fun.
Yeah.
I love the characters, and the other cool thing is like what he was saying about the music is they and I totally interjecting on your thing.
That's fine.
But he will reach out to all of these bands that a lot of them aren't as known. They're not big national acts. Bands that we've played with or bands that he just finds, and he'll be like, "Hey guys, I'd love to feature your music." And so he's doing something for the music community too, which is super cool.
Yeah, like I've had on Ship Captain Crew, Talk to You Never, Aiming for Average,
Dozer.
Dozer from Texas. We have Wayside Story on. We just had Aim at Your Enemies. So like I've been reaching out to a lot of like pop punk specifically, just because that's who all my friends are.
Right, and
like,
you're
hey,
from
man,
Linden Method.
We played
so.
shows this whole time. I'm Zach from the Linden Method. Let me throw you on the podcast. And we, again, because we're trying to shy away from not using mainstream music.
Yeah.
Being able to use my friends' bands and being like, hey, listen to these guys. They're awesome. We play shows together. Buy their music. It's just great.
Nice.
And I always make it a point to pay everyone $6.66 to get their music. So
Hey, I buy all the music that I play on this podcast, so
yeah,
like I said, I just paid him $1. I mean, so I don't steal it, but yeah, man, I feel you. I think that's awesome. That's what I try to do here too.
Yeah,
So,
it's a really cool way to just try and connect a bunch of people that have actually similar interests.
Yeah.
So
when I first saw that you were a part of Horrified podcast, I thought, okay, this is probably going to be pretty dark stuff. It's horror related and everything. So I'm listening and I'm like, yeah, and it's not. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like this is not what I expected. I was like, I like this because I'm not like a big horror fan. So it works.
It's comedy first.
It works better for me because I don't know shit about horror and I'm not like a big.
And over our time, we've actually had a lot of people contact us and be like, hey, thanks for covering this movie. I always meant to see it, but now I don't feel like I have to because you guys just tore it apart, and I know what happens already.
But yeah, the latest episode, or the last one, The Fly, yeah, that was great. I almost finished it, but as I was working on our show, trying to prep for this one, I was listening to it, and it's like, this is great. I really, like I said, I like the different voices instead, acting out the little scenes instead of.
Your podcast reminds me so much of like something John Waters does. How
interesting, awesome.
How it's like it's dark but funny and quirky, and Ian is a big drag queen on the side, and like it's just so similar. It's that quirky dark.
Yeah,
it's dark but definitely funny, and you guys will say shit that you're just like, ooh.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of crazy dudes. Yeah. We all have really insane backgrounds. So it's like when we get together, like the stories that we bounce off of each other are so bizarre.
Yeah, it seems like it, and you kind of capture that in the podcast. So how do you guys actually like choose what movies you're gonna do or all that? I mean, how long does it?
Last minute, like 3 days before we record, like, hey, are we recording this week? Cool. What are we covering?
Yeah.
And then we'll all watch the movie.
And then Zach edits it.
Yeah.
That's the reason it sounds
I was going to say, you're the
does.
editor, and I thought the quality was super, super good.
Thank you.
What do you guys use for recording and your software and all that?
I record everything through Ableton Live because it's the best program ever, and I will fight you if you disagree.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a super cool digital audio workstation that the way that Ableton just functions and the way that it handles everything inside of it makes it super easy and intuitive to work with as far as I'm concerned. And it's also got like, I feel like I'm doing mad science when I work with Ableton because everything's like super kind of like scientific and calculated in a way while still being like laid out really simple and being super easy to use. Because like, I don't know if like what you're working in, but like when you're in Pro Tools, you have everything on the 2 windows and like it's kind of similar to like Logic and Cubase and things like that. But I don't know. Ableton is my jam.
Huh.
But I record
I've never
everything
used that
through
one.
there, and then
What mics are you using? Are you still using the Electro Voice?
Yeah, we use the Electro Voice RE20s because those are great. We've got 2 of those, and I currently am borrowing a Scarlett i212 or something. I think I forget what it's called.
Going cheap side, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because we had a third mic, but something crazy happened and it disappeared.
So you're stuck with the Scarlett.
Yeah.
I almost bought a Scarlett when I started podcasting about 3 or 4 years ago, and then I ended up getting this little board because I wanted to have more inputs.
The Scarlett's cool, but working with condensers on a podcast is a pain in the ass because then you have to deal with other people talking and phase issues and weird things like that. And I end up cutting up my track a lot just so it's like fade in. What I say, fade out. Just so it's like there's not a lot of that weird room ambience in there to mess with everything.
Yeah, and some people it just depends on what your podcast is or what you want the tone to sound like.
Right.
But the way you edit it sounds great.
Thank you.
But yeah, the mic quality sounds good. I like that's what the radio station I work for. That's what
that's what everyone uses. Like that's what I kept looking up. Is
right.
Like everyone who does radio is using these mics.
Yes.
I was like, well,
if they're not...
again with what he's doing with his guitar stuff, like go with the tried and true. Everyone's using it. Use it. It's gonna work.
Yeah, and if they're not using those, they're usually using these. This is like
the
second
7Bs?
Yeah, it's like the second choice, and so I went with the SM7Bs just because of the price.
Yeah,
it's like I forget how much less.
I think they're like similar. Yeah, I know the RE20s are more now, but
yeah, I
was gonna
just
pick up a 7B for that reason, actually.
And that's the reason why, because I would rather have the EV or RE20s because they sound better. And I
think these compete for sure, though.
Yeah, they do, but I don't know. There's just maybe it's because how we were talking about with the JCM 800,
right. Just going with the tried and true.
It's that classic sound that everybody knows, and the EV RE20 is that classic sound that everybody knows. It's been used in broadcasting for years.
It's like throwing an SM57 on a snare drum.
Yeah.
You just got to do it.
Yeah, they just sound right.
Yep.
I think it also is. It's a very crisp microphone.
It is.
It's very crisp, and the mid ranges are very nice in them. You don't get this overly bass. You don't get this hissy S. They're just that perfect balanced sound. It's almost like a blank canvas. And I've used his Electro Voice trying to use it for music.
Yeah,
does not work.
Doesn't work.
Do not use that mic for anything other than voice.
Well, you can use it to capture low end. It's actually it does beautiful at capturing like bass and like kick drums and floor toms.
You can do that. And actually, they have they make the 320 too. That they use more of that for instruments and things like that. But yeah, like with the SM7B, it has more of a bassy sound. It's a little more flat, I feel.
Yeah, I know I read somewhere, I don't know how it works specifically, but I know the RE20s are specifically designed to like cancel out some of the proximity effect that comes from talking too close to microphones. And like they're very specifically designed to be right up on top of them. So like
even these are kind of that way. Like they sound the best if I'm like right up on this thing,
So. I feel like anyone listening to this that isn't a huge gear virgin like us would just be like, oh my God, Shut up.
I think I still don't know who my core audience is, but I feel like most people who listen are either in bands or they're nerdy about something else, like maybe about podcasting or,
Right.
so I think.
Oh, thank God.
There's definitely some information in
then
this
they'll be
episode.
happy, because normally when I start talking about gear, people are like,
Eyes glaze over.
Because I feel like the most people that I at least talk to that are like, oh yeah, I listen to your podcast. Well, they're usually in a pop punk band, or they're in a band, or something. Most of the people I know that listen. So, but that's just someone that's telling me. That doesn't obviously.
there's really soccer moms all across the U.S.
Oh yes, they just
tuning in.
They're tuning in. Well, they're tuning in for you. They got the hots for Alex.
I don't think so.
Oh man, you're pulling it. It's the trucker cat, man.
The trucker cap.
That's what it is. And the Star Wars tattoos.
They're like, I don't know. He looks old.
I want your
happening for you?
tattoos. Your Star Wars tattoos.
Just
want
the
them?
Star
We can
Wars
just
one?
peel them off
We
right
just
now.
cut 'em
That'd be
off.
Fine. Yeah.
So Horrified Podcast, where can people listen to that? Because I think it's definitely worth the time.
Everywhere. Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud. We're on a bunch of other podcatchers that I don't know what they're called, but every now and then somebody's like, yeah, I listened to you on this. And I'm like, I've never even heard of
There's
that.
so many,
Awesome.
and I
Cool.
keep wondering, is like, should I even bother with some of those other ones? I don't know. I mean, we're on the main ones,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we're on the main ones, and we made sure to cover that. But anything else is just.
But SoundCloud, we're not on SoundCloud because I tried signing up for that and I didn't get accepted. Or
We actually use SoundCloud to host the show. It's $10
SoundCloud's
a
a
month
good
for
one.
unlimited storage, and then everything RSS is off of the SoundCloud feed. So when I'm done with an episode, I upload it to SoundCloud, then it just appears everywhere. It's magic. I don't get it. It's awesome.
I use a hosting service called Blueberry,
All right.
and then I post it onto my WordPress site, and then
Yeah.
from there it goes.
From the WordPress though, because it needs the
Yes.
RSS feed to have it.
Right. So once
SoundCloud
it
has that feature built in, which is pretty dope.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so once I, put it on the bangeringradio.com,
Yeah.
then it goes to all the other places.
Cool.
So.
Something that's neat about his, and this is more recently, but when we'll go out on little weekend tours or something, a lot of times we'll have Horrified Podcast fans show up at our shows.
That's
oh my
so
god, it's the
cool.
coolest thing ever.
That is so
yeah,
cool,
they'll
man.
show up and
Yeah.
they'll be like, I'm like, oh, you guys know him? And they're like, oh no, we follow the Horrified Podcast. We just heard that you guys' show was going to be here, so we came out.
That's awesome.
It's
super
really
cool.
awesome.
And all of us like horror movies. And I mean, I got
Yeah, we're
horror
all-
movie tattoos everywhere.
Yeah,
We're all big horror
yeah,
fans. So
right.
it's super cool that, our music all's together, but then we totally appreciate what he's doing on the side because we love horror movies too.
And I'm
So-
also trying to feature in local bands, which reminds me, bands, if you're listening, contact us, the Horrified Podcast at Horrified Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and horrifiedpodcast@gmail.com.
There you
Send
go.
us your music. We'll throw it on the show.
He'll buy it for
We-
$6.66.
I will buy it for $6.66 exactly, and we will play it. We don't really have any objections to almost anything, so throw it at us.
Awesome. Yeah, please check out Horrified Podcast. I'm going to go back
It's
and
goofy.
listen to more. Yeah, it is, and I like it, though. I love
There's
it.
definitely some things that if you start from the beginning and go through, there's definitely reoccurring characters that we bring in, and there's a couple episodes that have an overarching story element to it, but jump in anywhere. Find a movie you like and listen to that because you'll kind of get it, and
Did I ever tell you
it's fun.
My dad did a podcast 10 years ago when it first started.
Whoa.
Yeah. My dad was a podcaster. It was called Sunday Morning Bloody Mary with Dennis and Gary.
Oh, wow.
And
sounds great.
every Sunday morning they would live broadcast it. They would write, they all have their normal jobs, but they would write all week, and they would go on and live do their shindig that they did where they would talk about drinking and different recipes and recent news and stuff like that, and they would have little skits, and
Yeah.
it was hilarious. It was incredible.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
Is it still online?
I don't know where I could even find it. I think he
Sure, you
has
can
them
hunt it
downloaded
out.
somewhere.
Well,
but
if you Google the name,
maybe,
if you Google the name, something should come up.
maybe I have no idea. I haven't done it. I haven't listened to it in so long, but it was pretty awesome. This is back when podcasts were just starting.
Yeah.
Him
yeah.
and my uncle Gary were like, "Why can't we do this? We're funny." And
Yeah, anybody can do
that's
it,
what
really.
they did, and it was pretty
Wow.
cool. Yeah,
That's
they
awesome,
did it for a
man.
couple years.
We'll have to Google that later. Definitely.
Sunday Morning Bloody Mary with Dennis and Gary.
That's a long name, but I like it.
Yeah. They had shirts that said it across it and had little Bloody Marys on them. It was awesome.
Did they drink Bloody Marys during the show?
Every time. And
Yeah.
they'd be
Oh, you have
shit-faced.
to.
They'd be shit-faced by the time the show was done. An hour later, they would have Gary would like take you to church and he'd be like do the Baptist church thing while he's drinking, and half the time that's by the time they're getting real drunk, so
Yeah.
you don't know what they're talking about at the end.
Maybe I should change this to pizza and beer instead of pop punk and pizza. Might make things a little more
I
interesting.
have a feeling about 90% of the people here will be okay with that.
Well,
right.
a lot of the times we have drank beer on the show anyway.
I heard
so,
during the red light compliance when you were talking about that people will be like, hey, can we start drinking?
yeah.
It's like it's the weekend. It's perfectly acceptable. You
Uh,
can start
they-
whatever time you want.
Yeah, exactly. I most of the time do this show on the weekends, so because that's the time I can do it.
Have a nice Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Miller Lite. Crisp and refreshing. Send
you
the
go.
check.
Yeah, send
Send
the
us
check
the
right
check.
now. Send me $5,000, please,
That,
right
that
now.
is a horrified reference, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Oh, we make
nice.
that joke
Hor-
constantly.
horrified people.
Nice. All right. Well, we are going to have a special acoustic performance from these guys here in just a couple minutes. I do. Speaking of podcasts and things like that, I have to plug our sponsor here for today. So this episode of Pop Punk and Pizza is being brought to you by GameFly. GameFly has over 8,000 new releases and classics available to rent for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, PS Vita, Wii, Wii U, and 3DS, and also older systems. Now, as a GameFly member, you can rent as many console and handheld games as you want and get them delivered right to your mailbox for one low monthly fee. If you like a game so much you don't want to send it back, you're like, I'm not going to do that. You can actually keep it for a low used price. There are never any due dates or late fees, and GameFly also offers the ability to rent Blu-ray and DVD movies as part of their regular service at no extra charge. So go to gameflyoffer.com/Bangarang Radio to sign up for a premium 30-day trial for free, and that's one game out shipped directly to you with a pre-addressed envelope included for easy returns. There's no contracts. You can cancel at any time. So go to gameflyoffer.com/Bangarang Radio. So we'll get back to the show now. And thanks for being a sponsor there, GameFly. We appreciate it.
Gamefly, send them the check. Put it in your
Cut
mouth.
the check.
They're cutting it right now. Do they actually cut checks?
I have no idea. I haven't
don't know.
ever
Does
seen a
anyone
check.
cut checks anymore?
They're all perfed.
Yeah,
They're already cut.
they are. I just went and got some to pay rent.
Yeah,
They are perforated.
they are perfed. Yeah.
I've never written a check.
He's like, I've never paid rent.
I pay rent
On time.
I give cash to my roommate, and he quick pays the landlord.
Nice. Hey, that works.
Man,
That works.
what century are we in? 30th?
30th.
30th century.
Everything's
30th
digital.
century Fox.
It's just numbers.
All right, so you guys want to grab your acoustics and we'll do
Yeah,
a
let's
little
do this.
show.
Are we even in tune?
Well, we can do that. So we'll be right back. All right, we're back here on Pop Punk and Pizza podcast, and we're going to do a special acoustic performance by the Linden Method. They're going to perform "Believing in Fiction" for us right now.
Strange how I'm believing in fiction. Guess I never comprehended what everyone was saying. Think you're wrong, think I'm right. Think of all those times I couldn't sleep at night, and we never gave up, and I never gave in. So hold on to your words, grip tight, and don't let them know that I know you're right. Never follow your heart, 'cause it's only a muscle, contracting in rhythms. I drop the beat, and my conductor now all aboard. Like
the source of a backlit screen in a late night cinema dream. So hold on to your words, grip tight, don't let them know they don't know you're right. And I've been waiting, scared and lost for a long time, not broken but bad enough to know it. Commitment, I've never used the word. And this year has been a Chicago winter, and it's gotten the best of me. You've been my city lights, and in your eyes I know this is where I need to be. Stay where you are, don't move at all. You've been running in circles just to get to the point. Around and around we go on this conversation carousel. These things never end, they never matter, but always hurt. So hold on to your words, grip tight, don't let them know they don't know you're right. Cause I've been wasting, scared and lost for a long time, not broken but bent enough to know it. Commitment, I've never used the word. And this year has been a Chicago winter, and it's gotten the best of me. You've been my city lights, and in your eyes I know this is where I need to be. Wasted, scared, and lost for a long time, not broken but bad enough to know it. Commitment, I've never used the word. And this year has been a Chicago winter, and it's gotten the best of me. You've been my city lights, and in your eyes I know this is where I need to be.
All right, that deserves a big round of applause. No, seriously, that was good. I know you guys said you just put that together last night, but that was good.
At like 11 p.m., really drunk. Yeah.
What were you drunk on last night? I gotta know.
Amsterdam vodka.
Amsterdam vodka. I've never heard of that one.
Makes your hands real jittery the next day and makes your brain really stupid.
Hey, well, not stupid enough to where you can't play a good song.
Third, fourth time's the charm.
Hey, they don't need to know that.
We'll let them
They
know.
do now. Cat's
We'll let
out
them
of the
know that
bag.
I forgot the words twice before actually getting it down.
That's okay. Like I said, that's happened to me many times while playing shows. We'll be in the middle of a song, and there was always like the same song, and I would forget the words, and it
I've
was
forgotten the
embarrassing.
words to this song live probably half a dozen times.
Oh, well.
I don't know what it is about it. It just brain fucks me out of
It's
nowhere.
just that good of a song that you spent so much hard time writing it that you can't remember.
It's
I
just
don't
that
know.
the chorus jams too hard.
Thank God that there is a camera to see my reaction to that. Not a chance.
No, I seriously, I wasn't trying to be sarcastic.
You know what we were gonna do? Is we were gonna learn your theme song intro
Oh
and
yeah,
play it, but we didn't think of it till we were on our way here.
I'm sure it's super simple.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
I'm not.
And we were listening to the an earlier episode, and I was sitting there singing the Pop Punk Pizza, Have a Slice of Pizza song. Yeah, I was
Nice.
singing it to Zach in the car.
Nice.
It's
That's
catchy.
awesome.
It's
Well,
super
very catchy.
catchy.
I didn't write it. I paid someone else to do that. So
Really?
They
Yeah.
crushed it.
I should have done it
Money well
myself.
spent.
Yeah.
I should have done it myself because, I'm a songwriter, but I was like, I don't want to do this. I want someone else to do it.
Shit, I'll do that for a living.
So, well, next, you know what? We'll do a new one, and I'll have you guys do it.
Yeah.
Good.
We'd be honored.
That'd be pretty awesome, I think.
It'll take 3 tries.
It'll have the Chicago pop punk brand on it.
There you go.
Sizzling hot. All right. Well, thank you again, guys, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys, your next show coming up July 22nd, right?
Yeah, Punks
that-
for Pets.
A Cairo Ale House in West Chicago, and that's not like west part of Chicago. That's literally a town called West
Yeah.
Chicago in Illinois. Just so you know.
Ironically, pretty far west of Chicago.
Yeah,
Sure
it is very far west.
But it's for a great cause.
It is for a great cause. It's the proceeds from that show. I have it written down here. Are going to Adopt, which is a animal shelter in Naperville, which is not far away from West Chicago. So.
We are a sucker for the furry ones, let me tell you.
Who isn't? I mean,
Yeah.
who isn't really? So that is Saturday, July 22nd. Also, tons of other bands playing. You got the Usuals, Death in Memphis, This Obsession, Welfare Beer League, which I love the name.
They're actually awesome.
Are they?
Yeah.
I mean, I would expect them to be awesome for
Straight
a name.
punk band.
Oh,
It's awesome.
Butchered, The Miserables, which I've heard of as well, Headspins, The Stick-Arounds, Amuse, and Invictus.
Yeah, come
Another
see
great
us
band.
not play this song, because that's a punk show. We don't play this song at punk
Yeah.
shows.
We take this one out.
I mean, you could do a faster version of
We
it.
could.
Yeah, you
We
could totally
slowed it
punk
down
rock
to
it up.
acoustic.
No,
we
I
have
just
the middle version.
Oh, we
You
should just double time
delete
everything.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Why not?
I think you should.
We do it with radio.
That's a brilliant idea.
And these guys, their social media, check them out on Facebook, facebook.com /TLM Chicago, and then your Twitter and Instagram is TLM Chai.
Yes,
Yep.
CHI.
TLM Shy.
Awesome. And of course, the Linden Method Chicago.bandcamp.com. And their latest record, Good Enough, you can find on iTunes and pretty much anywhere online, right?
Spotify. Get our Spotify numbers up.
Yes.
Spotify.
We're recently cracking
YouTube,
1,000,
they're
so
everywhere.
it's tracking for us now.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's hard to do,
It's a
in my
milestone,
opinion.
as far
It
as I'm
is.
concerned. Like, we hit it. I saw it the other day. It had actual numbers on there, not the stupid less than 1,000 sign. I was like, we exist!
Yeah, no,
We
it's
made it.
it's like an amazing feeling. I agree.
Look, Ma.
Look.
What is this?
Now, if Twitter just verifies us,
Oh, that would be
Twitter
good, too.
verification
We
is
can
the
quit.
ultimate dream.
Yeah, that's something I need to work on as well. It's been
It's tough.
that's a tedious process
Yeah,
too.
to
So
get through the
I
verified
saw that
elite.
James Van Osdol is having a hard time with that too.
what?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. You would think being a Chicago radio personality, you wouldn't have that trouble.
Huh.
That's so weird.
Yeah, but
I-
he said that on Facebook the
I'm
other
Twitter's
also
day.
so
not allowed
picky
to touch
about
our
it.
Twitter, so
What's that?
I'm not allowed to touch our Twitter.
No.
No. I took Twitter privileges away
Post-producer
from him.
Zach.
Okay.
I dominate
Well-
Twitter. I run the band Twitter, my own Twitter, and the podcast Twitter. So I am constantly on Twitter if you need to talk to me.
Awesome. Well, that's good. And
Tweet at me.
obviously check out Horrified Podcast too.
Yeah.
Name check one. And of course Waxed Wings, Alex's solo project
And
as
then,
well.
And Punko's Country.
yeah,
Our-
check out
Punko's
Punko's
Country.
Country.
I was just going to mention that.
The other guys will get mad at us if we don't say anything.
The other two are in that.
Which they just put out. This is how we roll. Florida Georgia Line and Luke Bryan. So
Yeah, they do punk covers of country songs.
Yep.
They're not officially sponsored by Punk Goes, but
no,
they're
but that's
brilliant
okay.
because if you search for Punk Goes, they come up all the time now. So
That was a.
Damn right. Look at
brilliant
their numbers on
marketing
Spotify.
move.
I was going to
Yeah,
say that
they're
was
huge.
smart. That was very
yeah.
smart. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for coming by again.
Thank you.
Yeah, all means.
All right, that's it for today's show. Thank you so much again to Alex and Zach from the Linden Method for being on the show. And before we go, just once again, I want to talk about the St. Jimmy Show, the Green Day tribute band that I play in. I play the role of Jason White. We have a show coming up Sunday, August 20th at Base Camp Pub and Eatery in Lisle, Illinois, outside of Chicago. It's their first annual 90s Palooza, so they got a ton of 90s tribute bands playing. There's a ton of great ones. There's one called Smells Like Nirvana. There's one called Don't Speak, which is a No Doubt tribute. There's even a Blink-182 tribute band as well called Blank-281. Tickets are now on sale at ticketweb.com, so snag those if you can. It's an all-ages show. St. Jimmy is hitting the indoor stage that day, at 4:30. So don't forget Sunday, August 20th at Base Camp Pub and Eatery in Lisle. And I seriously can't wait to hang out with you there, because you know how much I love playing shows and miss playing shows, and how much I love Green Day. So it's going to be a great time. And also, please hit us up on social media for Pop Punk and Pizza Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Pop Punk and Pizza Pod. We're also on... where did I have it? I had it in front of me here. Sorry. My show notes are all over the place. So Twitter is Pop Punk Pizza Pod. Instagram, Pop Punk Pizza Podcast. And then Facebook, just type in Pop Punk and Pizza Podcast. And then Bangarang Radio pages, we're on Facebook, and then we're on Twitter at Bangarang Radio. And if you're in a band and you want to be on the show, you want to be a guest, or maybe you want your music to be played, a part of Pop Punk Picks of the Week, shoot me links to bangarangradio@gmail.com. If you have an EPK, that is also very helpful as well. Next week on the show, my good friend Dave Gomez of Night Terrors returns. And if you remember, he appeared earlier on the podcast on episode 4, which is in parts. It's in 2 parts. And go listen to that if you get the chance, because we talk about Green Day's Revolution Radio, and we also talk about Sum 41's 13 Voices, because they just came out at that time. So that's episode 4 of Pop Punk and Pizza. But a brand new episode with Dave Gomez of Night Terrors will be out next week. That's on July 18th. That'll be available on bangarangradio.com, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, or you can watch the video version on YouTube. So thank you once again for tuning in to Pop Punk and Pizza. I'm Jacques Lamour. Hope you have a great week, and can't wait to be back here with you next week.
Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza. Hey, hello, it's nice to meet ya. Hey, come in and have a slice of pizza.